Hi folks, Ross Cavett in the Cobb TV studios with Chairman Mike Boyce for our weekly chat, and it's the morning after edition, I guess. Chairman, the commission last night discussed the millage rate and the fiscal year 2019 budget, and it was a sometimes emotional evening.
Yes, it was. You know, those things that mean the most to you in life, you have to fight for the hardest. And I think last night showed that. I was really committed to this millage increase because of all that I saw that the staff had shown me during the 9 months of our budget preparation. And I just think it's important from my background. I really believe that one of our jobs is to stand up for our team, and our team is the staff. And I got the sense that a lot of people talk about that, but when it comes time to apply money to it, then the talk goes out the window. But it has to be done in a format where how do we accomplish that and reassure our team, our staff, that we're behind them, but we have to also bring into the equation the most important element, which is the people, which is why I thought the town halls were a critical part of us getting to where we wanted to get. I honestly believe that in December, when I started talking about the millage rate, the 1.1, there were a lot of people thought that we would never get there. I get that part. But I believe that you don't get there unless you properly lay the ground for what you're trying to do and then engage the people. I said this last night, I believe in the American people. I do. I believe in the people in this county. I believe that if you go out there and you engage them in a conversation, they will tell you what they want. And they'll also tell you what they don't want. But you have to go make that effort. And you got to give yourself plenty of time to get that conversation to grow some legs so it starts telling people. So, you know, I was really struck by some of the numbers that you gave me yesterday, that we had over 15,000 people go to the website on the budget. 15,000 people. We had, I think, over almost 6,000 people go to the tax assessor's website. So what that showed me was that people either attended the town halls, were watching our video, heard it from their neighbors, and they were just checking to make sure that what I was saying was right. Which goes to the second thing, is that I have to say the right thing. You don't get a lot of room to make mistakes as far as telling people one thing and then they find out that you're in fact doing something else. I get about the fact that, like what I call this, the Senior Center Apology Tour, I've said that over and over again, we got that wrong, not because of what we were trying to do, but how we did it. We did not engage them in the conversation before we implemented it, so they thought we were trying to stick something, take money out of their wallet through the back door. But nobody can say that at the end of the whole process, whether you were for it or against it, you had the opportunity, this county provided the opportunity to show you what we believed were the facts. And I was struck last night again by some people who had not had an opportunity to go to the town hall or seen the presentation, saying some things that quite frankly were not true, and in some cases were outrageous. And now I'll just make one particular case about the homeless village. I made a point last night of talking about the press, one of their jobs, and I quoted Ben Bradley, who we knew was a very famous editor from the Watergate time, saying the job of the press is to make the lives of elected officials miserable. I get that part. It is a tension relationship, but it's a relationship that's imperative to keep your elected officials honest. No matter what they write about you, the reality is that is it true or not true? If it's not true, you can disregard it. All right, just an opinion, and don't spend any time losing any sleep over. If it is true, though, however, you need to find a way to remedy that. All right. Now we got to be perfect. That's the downside. Is no matter how many times we do something and get it right, we only have to get it wrong once for it to become, a story that has legs. And this story about the homeless village is one of those things that I find actually very, very concerning. Because from day one, we have a homeless population in this county. And I've been working with the homeless before I entered this office. It was through my church group and through my faith walk. And I've seen a lot of what the homeless have done and where they live and what they try to do. And there are people that are homeless that is the lifestyle they have chosen. It is. I find it unfathomable that you would want to live that way, but I also realize this is America. Right? And you have choices and you can make them, and our job is to find a way to stay out of your life, but you have to make sure that you're not doing anything that's inconveniencing the public or causing us to bring our services to bear. There are a lot of homeless people, though, and the vast majority of them who absolutely just need, a hand up. They're just looking for some way to get back, under the road to a successful life. And what we've been looking at is a partnership with Must Ministries through our nonprofits to create an umbrella organization, like I saw in an article this week in AJC that Gannett's doing, where they have somebody called a homeless czar. Now, I would never use that term, all right? But it's a focal point where no matter where you go in Gwinnett County, this is the number you call if you have a homeless issue, and they start the process to get you into the stream. They'll help you out. That's what we're trying to do here. The fact that we went down to a homeless village to look at what they're doing down there, I get the fact that there's this image or that we are, in fact, bringing a homeless village here, when the reality is I know how controversial that would possibly be because I saw what happened to Must Ministry last year when they tried to build a homeless home off their lot and got a lot of pushback from the neighborhood. And one of my jobs here is to make sure that I'm very aware of all the issues, how they plays out. So this is one thing that we were simply trying to do the right thing. And the right thing is we have a partnership and we're going to do that. But some people said some things last night. I don't know. They must be so angry that they just lost control of their senses. The fact that somebody would stand up there and say that I secretly signed a contract for a $500 million homeless village, that is absolutely no way in any shape or form true. All right, and that you would say that goes to the question about who you are and why you would say something like that. I get the fact that this is a sensitive issue, but I think it's also important to realize these are homeless people. All right, this is a very, very caring community in Cobb County. So what do we do about this population of people that either some of them are going to end up in jail where I got to feed them, clothe them, take care of their medical needs, so I got to spend money on them. Some of them are going to end up on my public health system because of they might have some health issues, so I'm going to help indirectly pay for them because we contribute $850,000 a year to public health here. So isn't it a better way, like we're doing with some other programs here, to capture them up front, help them get back into society like we are doing with the accountability courts, and then make them productive members of society. So I have to really be circumspect about my responses to those kind of outrageous things, but don't think that I'm not watching what's going on here. And there comes a time when you've gone beyond the pale. And Commissioner Weatherford last night, who was the real hero of this budget, he was. I hope people remember in the future that when we finally restore our services and bring back the 5-star luster that was Cobb County, Bob Weatherford was the reason that you have that. Because last night, actually, during his campaign, he did something that was very courageous. He ran knowing that he was going to have to advocate some kind of a millage increase. It doesn't matter what the amount was. And the opponent is always going to use that against you, saying that you're raising taxes. And that didn't stop him from doing the right thing. And then last night, even though he lost in the runoff, he could have been petulant, all right? He said, well, the heck with all of you. No, he stood his ground. He was a man of integrity. The Marine in him came out last night. I could not be more proud of sitting down with a board member than I am with Commissioner Bob Weatherford last night. And I hope that people remember that he was the reason that we're going to be a great county again because of the stand that he took. Even though it cost him his seat, he did what was right. And I think that's what people expect of us when they elect us.
And I think it's important to point out in this process, and Commissioner Burl, I think, brought this up in her comments, is that we're not just raising taxes from a position where the millage rate's already fairly high. Decisions had been made in the recent past that led us down the path we're on.
That's a great point. And I think Commissioner Burl, that was a brilliant statement. And I think it's important to remember that Commissioner Burl and I had many, many meetings. And even though we could not come together on a millage rate, she did her part too, all right? She made me a better chairman because, like anybody else that would have a comment, is what they're saying a fact? If it is a fact, then we need to act on it. If it's an opinion, then we got to see if there's any basis to it. And Commissioner Burrow gave her heart and soul to try to get me to come down below a lower millage rate. And I finally said, I just can't do that because of what I saw over 9 months. But I told her, you got nothing to worry about from me, all right? Even though I know you're not going to support this, you did what you're supposed to do as an elected official. And last night you mentioned a number, all right? I think it was like 1.2 or somewhere in that neighborhood.
There, yeah.
So the bottom line, though, is that you can say she took a position and she stated it, all right? 4 of us took a position and we stated it. This is what we believe the number should be, and this is why we should be that way. And I think that's what the public expects from us, all right? From day one, I made it very clear I wanted a millage rate, all right? And I started with 1.1 because that was just the number to make sure that we kept where we were going. That has nothing to do with restoring where we are. And then when I finally realized that, that I was going to be the one to have to carry the ball as to a millage rate that we could all go after one way or another, that's what I said, the 1.7. But that 1.7 was a result of discussions with Commissioners Cupid and Commissioners Weatherford, trying to find a number that we could reach that we knew we would be able to support last night. And that's called politics, all right? So doesn't mean that I didn't try to get Commissioner Burrow on board, but the bottom line is I respect her. She did exactly what she's supposed to do. And I told her that as far as I'm concerned, there'll be no problem with our relationship. We're going to go forward next year because in her comments last night, she gave us specific examples of what we need to do, all right, to make sure that the millage rate is affordable. That's exactly what we need. Don't tell me what the problem is. Tell me how you want to solve it, all right? And she did that last night, and I'm very proud of her for doing that.
And you had said during the town halls often that if we make it through this process, if we get the 1.7 mils you are asking for, you won't be back 12 months from now doing this all over again.
I don't know that I could do it again. But no, this whole process was meant to create a product that we could get behind and be sustainable, all right? And 1.7 is a number that we're going to be able to take our 5-year plan and we're going to be able to fund it over 5 years without having to adjust the millage rate. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to come back next year with town halls. I don't want to do this again. Come on, you heard me last night. I operate by doing town halls. I have to stay in touch with the people, and meetings and emails and stuff like that. They're important. There's nothing more important than you standing up there, one-on-one or one on 400, and telling them this is what I believe what we should be doing, and here's why I think we should be doing it, and I want your support. What do you think? Tell me about that. So I'll be doing town halls again next year, but it'll be a much different kind of town hall. It'll be one where the millage rate is what we proposed last night. I think it was 8.46, and we'll be looking also perhaps if for the other funds that are out there that within our control, if we can bring them down like we did the fire fund last night, then we'll do that too. But this is the new millage rate. And like I said during my town halls, I want to get to the golden days of like when Chairman Oles was here, we never touched the millage rate because we didn't have to.
We met late into the evening last night. You already had a meeting at 7 o'clock this morning. Right. We're heading off to something here in just a little bit that shows that the business of the county is just trucking along. Well,
it's a county of 740,000 people that I'm told swells to 1 million during the workday because of people coming here to work. At 11 o'clock this morning, I'll be with a group of people welcoming ThyssenKrupp to our county. They're bringing $280 million of investment to this county. And I just want to say one thing about that. We did this. We brought a $280 million company to this county in an open, transparent manner. All right. As soon as I found out about this, I told the commissioners and let them know what was going on. And my comments today will thank Governor Deal and his team because they're the ones that selected us to bring that company here. They could have used any one of 159 counties to bring that company to, but they selected us, and we closed the deal. That says a lot about our team. It says a lot about the people, the fact that the business community recognizes what we're doing is the right thing to do, and they want to come here. And more importantly, it shows that you can do something this manner without, in an open, transparent manner where you engage your commissioners and the public, and still successfully bring home a company that's going to do nothing but great things for Cobb County.
It's a pretty interesting looking project. I saw some of the renderings. It's right across from the battery. Right. That's an area we've been talking about recently that's really been exploding in growth.
It has, and as I said during the town halls, I need $2.4 billion in investment for me to have a break even during the braze, for our braze commitment. Well, this one company is going to bring 10% of that. And There are already, like I said, I've been saying there are other programs, companies that are already constructed there, and I know of plans for other ones here. So we are going to get to that $2.4 billion faster than I thought. I thought it was going to take longer than 5 years. I could be wrong. There's a lot of great things happening, and I think people realize that this is a county where you can safely work, live, play, and pursue your dreams, and we welcome you to our family.
As we approached the meeting last night, a lot of folks don't see the old saying is how sausage is made, but in government, the wheels were really churning here, and a lot of people working very hard and very long trying to get this budget together and make sure all the pieces were in place.
Right.
So I guess you're about to take off for a little bit?
Yeah, I'm going to spend some time with my grandkids. I do this every year, like I do my trip to Romania from major. I still believe that, even though I'm elected the chairman, you can't forget where you came from. You have to stay in touch with your roots. Because after I leave this position, I'm going to go back to that, and I want them to know that I never took them for granted. The one downside to this job is I don't get to see my grandkids. So I've made it very clear that I'm almost doing to my grandkids what I did to my kids during my Marine Corps career. But you have to decide what's important. And while my grandkids are important, the people of this county elected me, and I have a commitment to them to serve them every day. And even when I'm on vacation, I'm not on vacation because of emails and telephone calls. I generally spend probably 2 or 3 hours a day, even on vacation, answering emails and doing other county business. But it's an honor to serve the county, chairman of this county. Just really wonderful people here, and I feel like I have to give my best every day to them because they deserve it.
Yeah, I've noticed that when you're off somewhere else that the lines of communication always stay open.
They always stay open. So, but I think this is also a team effort. Ross, your people setting up the cameras and the loudspeakers and all the equipment in over 7 town halls for the hearings. People don't see the amount of effort that goes into making something look easy. And you can always tell when you have a great team because they do make it easy. You just take it for granted it's going to happen because they're that professional. And I just want to say thank you to you and the rest of your team here for supporting the town halls and getting our message out there, and how you've done it over the last 9 months. You are one of the key reasons, your team is one of the key reasons why I believe the vote last night was so successful, because so many people came to realize how important this was to the county. So thank you.
I appreciate that. And last night also showed us that people were tuning in. We had, I think, a record amount of people watching on Facebook Live. Wow. And YouTube channel as well. And that's the way you can stay in touch with us. As the chairman said, the emails, the phone calls are great, but you can tune in to our Facebook page, YouTube channel, subscribe to all the email, his newsletter, and everything else to stay in touch with what's going on in Cobb County in the weeks, months, and years ahead.
Amen.
Enjoy your time off.
All right. Thank you, Ross. It's always a pleasure.